basically, we had because it was so close to the clubs, we had massage studios, essentially brothels. Okay. Sure. Now, I was in the industry from 1997 until 2002. Yeah, 2002. And I had gone to Cape Town. I had worked in Cape Town. I didn't like the sex work industry in Cape Town. It was very cutthroat. And so I ended up coming back to Joburg, and I would work here. I did very well for myself. But it also messed me up terribly. And so I ended up turning to ways of coping, drugs and alcohol and that kind of thing, as a way to wrap my head around what I was doing.
Yep.
When I left the industry, I thought, okay, fine, I'm done, I'm out. All is right with the world. And then Sizzlers happened. But I want to discuss the victims. Sizzlers was at the time the worst mass killing in South Africa. Wow. It was our equivalent of the Pulse nightclub massacre.
Right.
Where we had never seen 9 people murdered in one place at one time, and specifically people in a queer industry. Now, let's also bear in mind that not every male sex worker is gay. You often have male sex workers who are actually just gay for pay. So
it's funny. That's an interesting wrinkle that one doesn't. Somebody who from outside the industry, outside the culture, wouldn't really understand.
One thing that the press kind of, I didn't say pushed, but it was kind of implied, is that they're all a bunch of fairies, and every single one of them was gay, and that just we don't know that. Some of them may have been gay, some of them may have been straight. Who knows? Actually, who cares?
They were all humans.
Mm-hmm. Now, unfortunately, finding photos of the victims is difficult. You need to understand that a lot of them used aliases. A lot of them didn't. Their parents didn't know what they were doing. Their friends didn't know what they were doing. Specifically, in the case of Sergio, and so they kind of, you had photos here and there in the media. You've had photos since come out, but that's all we have. And so we've kind of been, we can't remember their faces, but we can remember their names.
Well, 2005 was pre-social, the real prevalence of social media, or just at the start of it. So now, when a crime occurs, CNN will cut to somebody's Facebook photos, and there's endless content there. This is just before that.
Yes, it is, and so we were denied the opportunity to remember their faces, and also some of the families didn't want to be well known, and I fully get that, and I try and be respectful of the families in that regard.